Hi, it's Sunday the 1st of August 2010, and if you're on InsideView.ie, you're seeing the Rock of Cashel on a Sunday morning here in Cashel, along with me, Bernie Goldbach, talking about some Sunday papers. Nationalist local paper, FT Weekend, Sunday Business Post, and Sunday Times. Let's have a look at the Nationalist, what it's saying about things concerning national news. The Nationalist newspaper is worth buying if you're a local. Free inside, some things about Tipperary. Headline, Tip Tsunami Aid, remain unspent for 3 years. The deal is this. There's 150,000 euro that was in a bank account. And the Sunday Times revealed last week that, hey, it was just sitting there. Now, I went to a chugger that would have been supervised by your man, Vice Chairman Tony Lawler, Tipperary Town. A chugger was asking me for some help for tsunami victims. I gave him money. But I really didn't expect the money donated to remain unused in a Tipperary bank account for years. Now, they're writing it off. Lawler's writing it off. The administrative error. Funds are immediately used in a comprehensive 5-year relief program. What does that actually mean? Sunday Times picks up the story. It actually means there are problems with the governance of the Irish Red Cross. Mark Tighe, front page story in the Sunday Times, points out that in a letter sent in the last week to Declan O'Sullivan, Wardrick said, I want to state categorically and clearly this money has not yet been spent. What's going on there? Well, I can tell you this. There's corrective surgery needed in the organization. Front page, happy face of Derval O'Rourke wins the silver at the European Championships in Barcelona. Well done. Front page story, Sunday Times. Commercial state bosses are facing pay cuts, austerity measure. Sarah McInerney points out the story. The Electricity Supply Board, Gosh, Dublin Airport, you know, they're all taking away a lot of money. Pay cuts up to 20% were announced across the public sector last year. I took that hit. Salaries of semi-state employees are pretty much untouched, and that's a problem. How bad is it? What's the austerity story really bearing out to show? Interesting stuff. If you look at how the story plays out, like in the FT Weekend magazine has an excellent story about the dream that died. You could rewrite this, The Crisis of Middle-Class America, a story by Edward Luce. It's a cover story. And I'll tell you what, you could buy objects of desire like Peppa Pig. You could read about Peppa Pig, really good story about Peppa, how she came to be. But the story about people that don't have money to buy an iPad is that the feel-good factor in America is definitely rolled back. And at the end of the day, it's goodbye American dream. Story by Edward Luce meets Connie and Mark, middle-aged, middle-class America. And you know what? Slán to the Irish feel-good factor as well. In Ireland, it's going to be tough to feel good because great stagnation is actually kicking in place here. Long-term recession. Although it isn't really a recession, it's an entire shift of how goods and services are produced. If Ireland doesn't get aboard the smart economy and produce wealth inside the country, issues. More issues inside the Sunday Times. Let's have a look. Good Econometrics by Damien Kyberd, the Irish Outlook. He calls sanity check on Brian Cowan, the Taoiseach. Did himself no favors, that Taoiseach did last week when he asserted that the state's revised 7-year investment would create 270,000 jobs. It's all magic. No evidence whatsoever. Kyberd takes the numbers out and says, you know what? If you believe what Cowan says, you're going to be believing that the next generation employment is going to be brought to bear in Ireland for less than 5,000 euro a job. He says these job projections can't be delivered. They cannot be delivered because we just experienced a credit-fueled output boom without parallel, a boom that generated no net increase in employment in the wealth-creating sector. The stories inside, sometimes blind faith won't get us out of jail. That's the point. Here's another stupid story. Galway racegoers face higher rates for hotel rooms. Lads, supply and demand. You could write the same story about Kilkenny during the Arts Festival. Dublin during any kind of a big rugby match. Big story about WikiLeaks. Freedom fighter or information terrorist? That's the question raised in the story by Stephen Swinford and Michael Smith. Picture of the WikiLeaks founder, Julian Assange. Attacked for giving away information to the Taliban, which can hurt. Last week he admitted he only read about 4,000 of the documents. I'm caught in the middle about, whether you should give away information about GPS coordinates of where your informants live. That's a problem. 92,000 piece jigsaw puzzle is how Swinford and Smith put it. All the documents that are there. Amazing. Amazing, because as Jennifer O'Connell points out, it just does prove that journalism is still alive. Let's see what she says about it. Jennifer writes in the off message section, front page actually, of the Agenda magazine, Sunday Business Post. Whatever people feel about WikiLeaks, opinions greatly divided. Its scoop last week of war logs has shaken conventional journalism to the core. Here's 2 big points kicking out from Jennifer. There is no other organization like WikiLeaks. Its very existence changes the way we think about journalism, information, and power. 2 main points. You want to find out main points about it, the Irish side of it. The Irish flavor of WikiLeaks is at thestory.ie. Gavin's blog is you should be following on Twitter. At offmessagejen if you want to follow Jennifer O'Connell on Twitter. Inside the Sunday Business Post, some other interesting stories. You got the same story of the bosses of the semi-state firms are going to face tough salary review. Pat Lee says, look, it's no way around it. Should Declan Collier, the head of the Dublin Airport Authority, really be paid €570,000 last year? Story there that ran in the Sunday Times and in the Nationalist, now in the Sunday Business Post, about Irish Red Cross. More about governance, though, in Fáilte, Ireland. High-risk spending by that tourism group. There's €600,000 being paid out in sponsorship for sports events. No parent approval by the Fáilte, Ireland Authority. We basically have people paying out stuff without any kind of monitoring of metrics or ROI or whatever. Hey, but marketing, do you get an ROI? It's all magic, isn't it? Inside the Sunday Business Post. Startup funds are in place for high potential startup units. That keeps pointing out. €55 million is going to be available for high potential startup companies. Expect to rise to 85 next year, up to 100 by the year 2016. Inside the Sunday Business Post, social partnership comes at too high a price, writes Kathleen Barrington. It's part of the austerity measures that are going to hit Ireland. It's going to hit the idea of, do you link rate index links public salaries to anything at all? And do you participate in pro-cyclical funding of salaries and employee benefits? Real issues. Austerity's got to take a bite out of how Ireland funds itself. Inside the back part of the Sunday Business Post, Rob Kitchen writes a really good story about ghost estates that ran in the National Broadcaster this week. He is the director of the National Institute for Regional and Spatial Analysis. Good stuff. Haunted Landscape is what his book's called. Fiscal and planning policies have failed throughout Ireland. And he's asking for a full-blown inquiry. I don't think you need it. You just need to look at how public servants do their job. They just gave away planning permission when they shouldn't have. No real plan to sustain estate based on footfall, distances from shops and connections to public transport. They just funded it because these ghost estates helped fund development projects by the council. And finally, just a word about where I am and what I'm doing. I don't know if I'll be able to do this very often. I'm on the side of the Rock of Cashel looking out over Hoare Abbey. If you're interested, I live in the yellow houses over there. Part of them are the ghost estates. Can we zoom that? Yellow houses, magnolia, the favorite color of the Irish estates, built around the start of the Celtic Tiger. And I'm doing this because I'm hoping Americans might spot this on YouTube or on InsideView.ie, my weblog, or when I tweet it at topgold. Come visit the Golden Dale, Tipperary, Golden Dale of Ireland. You can go out this place on your own for free. Go inside the Rock of Cashel up there on the hill. Pay your, whatever it is, €8 to get in. Or just visit me. You can find me on the web. I'll take you in as a local. And you know what? It won't cost you a thing. From here at the base of the Rock of Cashel on the 1st of August 2010, it's Bernie Goldbach saying thanks for listening. Bye for now.